Welcome to Chat Chow, a weekly online show celebrating the personalities in the food industry. We're in Seattle today at the Pike Place Market, and we're meeting with Sam Samson of the world-famous Pike Place Fish. Fish throwing, you guys are kind of famous for it. So is that, like, how did you guys come up with that? Is that something that other markets
The original story behind that is the owner started that. Basically what it is when it gets really busy here, and especially in the summer on the weekend, you'll have to fight the crowd. Let's say you bought 2 crabs, right? I'll have to get the 2 crabs and walk it all the way around the corner. I mean, like 20-step fight the crowd.
Right.
So now it's easier for the owner to like toss it from where he's standing and toss it behind the counter. That's how it started, literally. And then it just evolved from there. It looks like all of a sudden we're like a circus act all of a sudden, you know, but it's not like that. So let's say you ordered 2 crabs, right? And I'll toss, before I toss it up there, I go 2 crabs, and I toss it up there, and everybody repeats what I say. Hey! Just like that.
Okay, I'm just curious, has there been any like fish accidents, like you threw a fish at someone?
Purposely or accidentally? No, of course, yeah. Accidentally, yes. You hit customers, yeah. Or us.
And they're okay with it?
They're okay with it. Most people, when they get hit by the fish, they're pretty much part of the show, and they're like, oh, thank you. But some of them, you can't please them all. But it happens.
Right. So how did you get started as a fishmonger? Is that what you would call yourself?
Yes. How did I start?
Yeah.
That's a long story. You want the... I'm gonna shrink it down. Okay. Born in Korea, raised in the Philippines, from the Philippines to New York.
Okay.
So finished all my schooling in New York, and then when I was in New York, I worked at a fish market for 4 years during my high school years and part of my college years. Out of nowhere, I just walk in and I go, no job application, no resume. I just say, hey, are you guys hiring?
All right.
This is May of 1986. The person I walked up to happened to be the manager at the time. I said, hey, you guys for help? And he asked me, do you know any fish experience? I go, yeah, I know how to fillet. You know what? Then he took a salmon. He took a fish off the bench and made me put me back there, made me fillet in front of him. And I started that day.
That's a great attitude.
That was like the job. I was so nervous.
If you were a fish, what fish would you be?
Oh, king salmon, baby. King salmon. You know why it's king salmon?
Why?
The biggest, baddest salmon there is. There's so many people who get confused about salmon. Whether it's king salmon, silver salmon, sockeye salmon, pink salmon, chum salmon. King salmon's always gonna be the best.
How big is a king salmon?
Up to 50 pounds.
50 pounds, wow.
50 to 60 pounds for a king salmon.
So you have a lot of different varieties of fish here. Is there any that's specific to the Northwest region?
Well, right now, the only thing local would be the banded rockfish.
Okay, and what's the flavor of this kind of fish?
Which one, the rockfish?
Yeah.
Very mild white meat.
White meat, okay. So if you're at the grocery store, at the market, what do you look for in a fish?
Number one sign. You don't even have to be close. If you can smell the fish market before you see it, turn around.
Okay.
Number 1. That only applies to U.S. fish market. When you go to Asian market, like in the Philippines or China, you're gonna smell it. But anyway, only applies to American fish market. If you can smell it before you see it, you walk away.
Okay.
Number 2, if you don't smell it, you walk up to the fish market, right? Old school way of telling fresh fish. You always look at the eyes.
Okay.
If the eyes are nice and clear and plump, it's fresh, right?
Okay.
But that's the old school way. The reason I say old school way is because sometimes the fish comes in with no head. So how are you going to check whether it's fresh or not?
Right.
There's no eyes to check, right?
Okay.
So what you do, you look at the whole fish. Number 1, it has to have all the scales on it, all the slimy still. When there's no slime, watch out, because if there's no slime on it, every fish comes out of the sea, whether it's fresh or saltwater, it's going to have slime on it.
Okay.
The minute it doesn't have any slime on it, that means it's been iced up too many times, it's been put away too many times. Doing this to the fish, it doesn't really check. I mean, as a matter of fact, it's my one pet peeve. I hate people when do that. It's like, you're the 100th person that did that, it's gonna get soft.
Okay.
It's like you go to the produce stand going like this to the bananas, what do you think's gonna happen? Yeah. So my suggestion is, look at the whole fish. It's gotta have scales on it. Come on, hand this way. See the king salmon? It has to be nice and bright. All the scales has to be on it. The scale has to be on it. If it doesn't have any scale, that means it's been put away too many times.
Okay.
That's what fresh ice looks like. Nice and bright, right? Watch. You turn it around, it's blurry. The reason is it's sitting on the ice.
Right.
That ice has been sitting. That's why it's not 100% correct.
Right.
It's correct back in the days, but not anymore.
So I saw your sign 100% sustainable seafood.
Yes!
Can you tell us about that?
Well, at the beginning of this year, we told ourselves that we're going to be a sustainable fish market. We didn't know what it meant, how to do it, so we enlisted the help of Monterey Bay Aquarium in California.
Okay.
We asked help for the local Seattle Aquarium, and they told us basically what sustainable means. It means different things, but for us it means catching the fish in a way that doesn't degrade Mother Nature.
Okay.
It makes sure, so the basic question you ask, basically we ask is like how it's caught and where it's from. Those two things determine whether it's sustainable or not. Most wholesalers won't tell you how it's caught. And that's basically the biggest hurdle we have to go through. All the wholesalers that we buy our fish from all wholesalers, from back east, south, whenever. So we've been dealing with the same wholesaler. All of a sudden we tell them, hey, we can't buy your fish anymore because it's not sustainable. They said, but our fish is sustainable. But when it boils down to it, we ask them, how is it caught? Do you have documentation? Do you have proof that this is caught in a way that's not? And they give you all kinds of answers, but no solid proof. So we have to stop.
Sam, thanks so much for doing an interview with us.
You can close off the thing with you catching a fish. Put that on.
Oh, I'm so scared.
Don't be scared. Be careful when you go through there. It's slippery. Guys, this is Sabrina. She's gonna catch a fish.
Sabrina, what's up?
Start praying, Sabrina. Hail Mary, full of grace. Lord. TT for Sabrina.
TT for Sabrina.